Alright, I don't know how this is gonna work. My microphone's up here. I'm not wearing any makeup and I'm scruffy looking. You're gonna see the back of my head for most of this anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I've been a little in my own head recently and I've had some bad days, so I figured maybe I'd try something like a video to, I don't know, try and get me out of it a bit. I'm overthinking everything, I'm worrying about everything, I'm feeling quite lonely again. Normally what I do is I either like to talk through my feelings somewhere, doing something, or I like to paint, so I figured why not do both? You guys have been asking me to like make some painting videos, and also, I don't know, there's just lots of stuff in my head. I feel like it would be good to talk over. And if this doesn't work, I just don't show the video to anyone, simple as that. I figured I'd maybe draw an octopus today, because you know me, I love my octopuses, like a lot. I feel so silly doing this, because I'm not like an artist. I don't really have any talent, I just kind of have fun with painting and stuff. And also, whenever I get kind of like personal in videos and stuff, I do worry I'm being too self-indulgent. I make my videos for you guys, and I don't know to what extent you want to know about my life, and I don't know to what extent I should necessarily like tell you about my life, you know? I like to try and be quite free when I'm drawing the tentacles. I don't want this to be too much of a realistic painting. I'm going to try and make it a little more abstract. I think, I hope. I don't know. Normally I don't really know how a painting's going to turn out until I get into it. Just trying to remember to do 8 legs this time. And I've got this big gap down here that I kind of want to do something with, but I don't really know what. Maybe I should have brought this tentacle over this way. A little better. And then what if I do some like little jellyfish as well? Been practicing my jellyfish recently. And then I'll do some of the lines and stuff. And maybe up here I can have another jelly boy. Okay, and then we'll just work from here and like see what happens. I don't know. So I know with gouache you can go quite opaque or you can go quite transparent. I want to go I'm going to try quite transparent and maybe get some texture. I've no idea. I don't know. So let's think, what's been on my mind recently other than, you know, everything. Lots of insecurity about stuff. My channel obviously had a big growth boost over Christmas time. While I appreciate that and I like it and it's helped money-wise because, you know, my rent's going up on this place, taxes to pay, money's a struggle always, and I'm kind of fed up of struggling. So while that helped a little bit, like, it's still, not everything's paid off, but I mean, it's a start, right? So while that little bit of money that increased over December was nice and it helped and whatever, when you get a sudden influx of subscribers like that, it can be a little bit terrifying because I'm never quite sure what they want and what they're here for, and whether they just expect that one type of content or if they still want me to do varied stuff. I find it very hard to get like a balance. I mean, I find it very hard to understand people anyway. I definitely have a lot of social issues and stuff, but when it's in big numbers, it can be absolutely terrifying, you know? I'm sure a lot of you understand. Content creation and marketing and stuff like that is all about the very like human appeal and the human side of stuff, and that was always something I really enjoyed when I worked in marketing, like bringing the human side to products and services and stuff, and it was fun, it was great, and I loved it. But it's different when you're trying to market and brand yourself. I don't know, I find it difficult thinking of myself as like a brand or a commodity or whatever, and knowing that my success is basically based on how people think about me and feel about me and whether they like me or not, and that's a little bit terrifying, you know? See, I'm in like an anxious state. I mean, I'm not like full-on panic attack anxious, I'm just kind of worked up about stuff, you know? It's try and put it into the painting. Come on. Give me some movement. Give me some flow. Let's make this a, not necessarily an angry octopus, but a determined octopus, you know? He's out here trying to feed his family. Not that that's how octopuses work, but whatever. What I quite like about gouache is, and I know not everyone uses it this way, but I quite like building up in layers and starting with something quite transparent and getting more and more opaque as the layers build up and go on, as I get kind of like a flow for what I think the painting is gonna become or could become. I don't know. We'll see. So in exciting news, I've been asked back to speak at Faithless Forum this year, which I'm really excited about. I love those guys. Faithless Forum was one of my favourite events, moments, experiences of not only last year, but just the last decade in general. It was amazing and unbelievable, and I don't know, I kind of got it into my head that they weren't going to ask me back this year because of the Essence of Thought drama, because I had a bit of an argument with Alex, and we're still not on speaking terms. Yeah, I don't know, I figured, I don't know, maybe they were choosing between us, and obviously they would pick him over me because he's got the bigger following and bring in more crowds, you know? And obviously I want their event to be successful, so I didn't blame them, I wouldn't blame them, but that's not what happened. It was my paranoid brain being paranoid, as always, you know? But they asked me today, and of course I was like, yes, 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 I can't wait. I can't wait to see everyone and be there again. Can't wait to meet you guys. So much has changed this last year. I've spent such a long time trying to figure out who I am and what I want and what I'm doing with my life, and I have these ideas in my head now, the kind of person I want to be. It's just actualizing them, making them happen and come true. It's constant work, and it's gonna be worth it, I know, but it's difficult and it's exhausting. And when you're not only having to like battle yourself constantly, but you're trying to make sure the public also has a good impression of you, you're fighting to pay the bills every month, like it's difficult. Part of me thinks maybe I should just move somewhere cheaper than London, you know, like Manchester or Leeds or whatever. Like, God, I could get a mansion for what I'm paying in rent on this place. But then it would mean starting all over again. And I don't have the money for deposits right now. I don't have the money for moving fees. None of that. Plus, I don't know, my life's here. I finally, for the first time in my life, have female friends who I actually love and adore and trust and know they're not going to hurt me, and they genuinely have my best interests at heart, and they're wonderful, wonderful, talented, amazing, kind people. And I feel so lucky to know them, and I don't want to give that up. Plus the experiences here, you know? I've met literally some of my favourite musicians while I've been here. As in musicians that I've been a fan of for years, nearly a decade. Like, you know, I met people like that, and it's been amazing. But then I'm like, what do I value more? Crazy experiences and the fun of life, or saving money in the prospect of the future? And then recently I've kind of met someone that I've been dating, and I don't know, I see potential there, and I don't want to move away and leave that. So, yeah, I'm conflicted. Plus finding a place in London cheaper than this that would let me have Kyra, practically impossible, you know? My rent, starting in April, it's going up to $1,300 a month. Insane. Absolutely insane. And then there's bills, everything on top of that. It's just constant pressure, you know? I'm sure you guys know exactly what it's like. I understand it, and you know, I grew up with this and I'm used to it, but I just kind of wish it was over by now, you know? I'm ready to be past this stage in my life. I'm ready to be comfortable, and I want to start giving back to other people more. Instead, I just feel like, I don't know, constantly struggling and so I saw this news story last night. This is another thing that's been dwelling on my mind all day and is kind of making me all weird and anxious, and this is such a stupid thing. Basically, I saw a news story that I thought would be perfect for me to cover on my channel, and I have a hell of a lot of opinions on it. Problem is, the woman it's about, who am I kidding, she's not a woman, she's a girl. Literally just a grown child. Sorry, I don't like her. I know her personally. We went to uni together, and she was actually the best friend of Dan's ex. And she was also the ex of someone I'm still very good friends with, who I love to bits. And also Kyra loves him to bits as well, so you know he's alright if she likes him, you know? So, you know, I'm just gonna get my thoughts out now, and like I say, if I have second thoughts, I don't have to include this, and at the very least, I'm not gonna link to the story or say her name, so you hopefully won't know who it is. But basically, there was this girl at uni, and God, she had so many issues. She was like textbook narcissist, right? And I'm not as judgmental now, I don't think, as I used to be when I was more insecure about myself. But even now I look, you know, because like sometimes when you grow up you look back and you're like, oh, well, maybe I judged so-and-so a bit too harshly or whatever. I do not think that with her. I look back now and I'm like, God, what is wrong with her? Like, as a person. And then, when I met Dan much later on, I heard stories of this like crazy narcissistic best friend of his ex. And it took me literally about 5 years of hearing these stories to actually meet her and realise suddenly that they were all the same person, and I was like, oh. So I didn't have a great opinion of her going in. But yeah, the first time I ever met her in person, she tried to like, I don't know, she got all up in my face and got really nasty with me. But yeah, the first time we ever met, it was like this really awkward instant in the bar that I worked in, where Dan's ex was like not leaving him alone, so I was like, what the hell do you think you're doing? And then the friend came over to me and got all like up in my face and started swearing at me and stuff. And it was a really horrible experience. And there are a few more times I like saw her around after that and stuff, and you know, I'm at a point in my life where I try and see the best in people. And I know I've made mistakes, but looking back, I can't see the good in her anymore. Anyway, she popped up in the news yesterday because she was arrested in, I don't know, like the Maldives or somewhere, because she was drunk and walking down the street in a bikini outside a mosque and a school. Now, it's illegal to wear a bikini there other than in certain areas, and you know, she's pushing it by not being on these designated beaches anyway. And then to have the audacity to walk past a mosque and a school, it's just, I don't know, either she's an idiot or she's just so disrespectful she didn't care. And like I say, she was drunk as well, which was like an extra insult. So apparently a bunch of local people complained and ended up calling the police. And the police came and were like, miss, can you please put on some clothes? You know, you're not allowed to wear nothing but a skimpy bikini here. And she started being like no, meh, 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 and kicking up a fuss. So they were like, look, you either have to put on some clothes or we're going to arrest you. And she was like, meh, 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 meh. Saying, no one's gonna touch me, no one better touch me, blah blah blah, you know, as she does. And they tried to arrest her. And there's a video of this. And the police officers, I think, looking at the video, I don't know, I wasn't there, purely looking at the video, I don't think they did anything wrong. They restrained her as you would any drunk woman who was screaming at them. Like, I think it was 2 or 3 officers got her by the arms, tried to put her in handcuffs. At this point, she starts wriggling around, squirming everywhere. Her male friend runs over and tries to cover her body with a towel so she won't cause any more, like, fuss or problems to the people who are complaining. And then she starts shouting, "You're sexually assaulting me, you're sexually assaulting me."
You are sexually assaulting me! You bitch! Sexually assaulting me! You bitch!
And that's where I just like absolutely lost it watching this video, because no one was anywhere near her genitals or her chest or anything like that, except the friend who was trying to cover her up a bit. And she's shouting that at the police when it was very clearly not a sexual assault. It was very clearly just a regular restraint and arrest. And it upset me so much because, God, that is so disrespectful to people who've actually been sexually assaulted. The fact that she was behaving this way and shouting out these things just completely undermines and belittles every single person who has been sexually assaulted. I have literally been groped on the street by a stranger before, who then ran off laughing after he grabbed me on the chest. It feels violating. It makes you feel weak and worthless and disgusting and dirty, and you blame yourself. But in this video, yeah, okay, I can see why she probably felt weak and worthless and degraded, because, you know, she was being arrested. But she did that to herself. She brought it on herself by being arrested in the first place. I don't know. Sorry. I'm rambling and probably not coming across as very nice here. I don't know. You know me. I don't think anyone should tell anyone else how to dress. But I also think when you travel to another country with other customs and laws and rules, you have a little bit of human decency and you respect that. And if you don't know what they are when you get there, if someone tells you, you follow it. If someone asks you nicely to follow it, you do it. There's no reason why you shouldn't. And the thing is, she wasn't exactly wearing a bikini on the street in some kind of protest. She was doing it so she could show off and take some stupid Instagram pictures and be like, oh, look at me on my fancy holiday. She wasn't saying, hey, I'm gonna wear this bikini for women's liberation and to, you know, try and be a feminist. She was literally doing it drunk to say, oh, look at me and my bikini body. Me. I saw oh, something I saw on Reddit literally a couple of hours ago, where someone made the analogy of it being like, I think they said someone going into a school or something with a t-shirt that had swear words on it, and you know, it would be like that, and then someone saying to them, hey look, it's not really appropriate, can you cover up? And then if he didn't, saying that it would be appropriate to like remove him from the building and stuff because he's not respecting the people whose building he was in. I don't know exactly how they worded it. It was better than I could or would or am. But yeah, no, I see the point. These definitely need a few more layers. But I'm gonna let things dry there and maybe focus on the water a little more. Anyway, I was unsure if I wanted to talk about this or not because, like I say, I know her personally and I don't have a very good, like, opinion of her. And I didn't want to come across as, like, petty and bitchy, which is what I've literally just done. So I'm just gonna own it. Yeah, I can be petty and bitchy sometimes. Especially when it's people who haven't been very nice to me or my friends. Especially my friends. I'm very, very protective of my friends. But also I do think it's an interesting issue because, you know, like, yeah, I don't like the fact that Islamic laws prevent women wearing certain clothing and stuff like that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a bikini in general, but I also think it's just human decency to respect people and their boundaries when you're in another country or another culture or another society or whatever you want to call it. No words. So they're my thoughts on that. It's also the same woman who was on that First Dates program, which, oh my god, I hate it so much. Anyway, yeah, she was on that and she like kicked up a fuss about not like splitting the bill with a guy and being like, I'll get this, and then like just, I don't know, being really rude when he was like, no, it's fine, I'll get it. And she at one point literally shushed him. I'm like, come on. Like, I get you want to try and make a feminist statement, but at this point you're just being impolite. You don't shush another person. Like, it's just disrespectful, you know? Yeah, basically, if you couldn't tell, I have issues with this person. In other news, I saw a news article about a woman. This time I don't know her, but she was just as scummy. Actually, no, she was more scummy, I'll be honest. This one was just a bit of... The girl from uni is just a bit of a bitch. This woman, full-on predator, horrible woman. She was apparently a babysitter for some, like, teenage kid, like around 13 or whatever. And she would, like, have sex with him and he got her pregnant. And it just, oh, it disgusted me. How can anyone do that to an actual child? I say actual, like, there's fake children as well, but do you know what I mean? Like, oh, what's wrong with people? And the thing is, I hate that, in general, people are way more lenient on people like her because she's a woman, and it's not so bad when a woman does it. Like, no, it's just as bad. He's a literal child. You don't do that to a child. Plus the fact that, like, he's now a father to a baby. You've just ruined his life. Make him a father at like 13, 14, whatever. Ugh. Part of me wants to make a video on that, but also I know it's going to get me so angry and so worked. I'm already getting angry and worked up now. So I have mixed feelings. I don't know. You know what actually feels really good to get that really petty rant just like off my chest? Thanks guys for listening. Please don't judge me too harshly. On top of this, I have an auntie in hospital and she's, yeah, she's pretty ill. It's quite bad, I think. And I feel terrible because I'm stuck here and there's nothing I can do to help anyone and I just feel really useless. She doesn't have any like kids or a partner of her own, so my parents are looking after her and they've been looking after her for literally years now. And I feel bad that I can't do anything. I'm just like stuck here, you know? And even if I was up there, I think I'd just be more of a burden because it's not like I can drive. It's not like got any money. Yeah. She's currently in hospital, so she was taken in this morning. I'll be honest, I haven't painted at an easel in a while. I find it quite refreshing. I'm using completely the wrong paper though. I realise I'm using acrylic paper with gouache, which is way too water heavy for it, but what you gonna do? Oh, and other exciting news, when is it, April, the start of April, I'm going to be speaking at DaveCon, which is a little kind of protest convention that Dave Worley set up as a screw you to the anti-theism event with the incredibly, like, disgusting sexist organisers. That's happening down in Brighton. But our event, DaveCon, with an all-female panel that I'm part of, which is going to be really fun, is going to be, oh, I can't remember the place off the top of my head. It's at a university. I think it's more London-based. But it's only like 20 quid to go as opposed to the anti-theism one, which is like 1,000 quid. Ridiculous. But yeah, ours is like 20 quid. Dave offered to like pay me for speaking there, and I'm like, no, screw it. I'm going to do it for free as a screw you to Lance Gregorchuk and John Richards. Because we all know what happened there, and if you don't, you should. Both of them are apologists for sexual assault. John Richards literally ended his interview with Shannon by telling her to get back to the kitchen. I would not like to go to any event they organised, ever. I would not feel safe. But yeah, if you're going to be around London-ish on the, I want to say the 4th of April, I think. It's in the evening, so you can come see not only me speak, but we are going to have the wonderful Arylin Rylee as well. Oh, I love him. Everyone always mocks me for how I pronounce his name. I think he probably hates me a little bit as well when he hears it, but you know me, I struggle with pronouncing everything. I'm from Yorkshire. But yeah, Arylin's going to be there. It's going to be very exciting. You know, I'll leave a link to the website and stuff down in the description below, so you can go grab some tickets if you want. And come meet me, come say hi, come see me speak, and come meet all the other amazing speakers as well. Here we go, I feel like this is starting to come together now, right? Isn't it? Is it? I don't know if you can see it on there. It's okay, it's okay. One person I'm incredibly excited to meet this year at Faithless Forum is going to be Jimmy, Mr. Atheist. I'm really hoping he's going to be there because I really, really want to see him and hang out with him and spend time with him. And just like, thank him for being an amazing person, you know? We chat on the phone sometimes, which I never do with anyone, ever. I hate talking on the phone. But I don't know, he gets me and he makes me feel really comfortable. And, yeah, God, I love Jimmy so much. This is probably a terrible idea because I have my bookcase behind. I'm washing on the floor. Don't judge me, I'm messy. like to think if the paper is my insecurity and me chucking paint at it is like saying screw you. You know? I wanna feel happier, I wanna feel more confident, I wanna feel better about myself. I'm probably also getting covered in paint. This is interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm dribbling, I don't know if you can see it. It's cool though. Wait, let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. You can see this. Kinda cool. I want some more paint splatters and drips and stuff. I like how it's looking. So Jack has recently introduced me to the absolute wonder that is Black Sails, and I'm wondering how I haven't watched that show before because it is amazing. It's like everything that I want. It's like action and drama and pirates, mostly the pirates thing. I love pirates. Oh, they're so cool. So that's a positive in my life. Black Sails, you know? That makes me happy. You gotta take the small victories where you can, right? I said that, turned to the camera, realising I'm zoomed in and you can't even see me. How do we feel about this? Is it okay? Do we hate it? I think it's quite expressive, I'll give it that. It's definitely a lot of how I'm feeling. You know? It's definitely a lot. I have a few kind of like really amazing people around me, who keep telling me to like call them when I feel sad or like let them know, and I struggle to do it because I feel like such a burden, and I don't ever want to be a burden to people, and that's what I feel like I am. It's kind of what I feel like I am now making this video. Why I don't even know if I'm going to post it because I'm going to feel guilty about it. But does anyone else get that where, you know, they feel like friends and family are telling them, oh, talk to me if you feel like this, but then when you actually feel like that, you never do, because your anxious brain or your depressed brain is like telling you like, oh no, they didn't mean it, those people don't really care. And it's easy to be like, yeah, no, of course I will, when you're in a good mood, and when you're in the sad mood, it all goes out the window, you know? Yeah. You guys know. Let's see how these splashes go. Interesting. Oh, this is interesting. How it's kind of like following the root of the limb because that's where the paint goes. Do you see that? Let's move the easel again. I've got to stop doing that. Drop one down here now. Let's do some jellyfish. No, I'll have to do some details on the eyes, I think. So I'm not sure the jellyfish quite look like jellyfish anymore, but I don't hate them. We can pretend these pink dribbles are like coral or something, right? We'll go with that. What do we think of these tiny details in black on the jellyfish? Does that make it like stand out a bit more? Yeah. Well, this side has not turned out as well. That one is way messier. This is like what I want to be, and this is what I am. Oh, right in the face. Right, there we go. I think I am going to call that pretty much done. What do you think? In the words and voice of Simply Neological. So, I'm a little bit covered in paint, and I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Okay, it's not that late. It's not that late. It's 9:30. I felt it was a lot later. I think it's just because I'm so tired and worn out and just... So there you go. Here's my latest octopus painting. I don't know, I don't hate it. I quite like it. And I think this has been good for me to just sit and vent and paint. And who knows what I'll do with this video. I guess, as always, I'll just make it as I go along. But thanks for joining me on this silly little journey today. And yeah, see you guys again soon.